I just want to say that, you know, in this job, sometimes it's lost the important work that we do on behalf of the people of the Virgin Islands. The serious policies and decisions and legislation that came about because there was an existing problem to be solved, you know. So as a result, there is a time and effort and process that goes into developing a law, taking it from just a concept or something, a problem that a member of our constituency may come to us and talk to us about a problem that they've been experiencing, chronic problem. More than one person, you know, express their concern about it. We go to the drawing board, we collaborate, and we find a way to develop a solution to fix the problem so that we don't find ourselves in the same place spinning around. That's the reason that we were elected to this job. It's a tough job, sometimes thankless, but you know, it's something that we do for the love of it. But having said that, I just wanted to reflect today on the work that we did. We demonstrated again our unwavering commitment to the people of the Virgin Islands, specifically to improve their quality of life. Today's agenda demonstrated our responsibilities, really, from approving essential lease agreements with NOAA partnerships with our federal folks, to providing, to advancing legislation that strengthens the most vulnerable citizens of our community. We passed measures including Senator Gittins, I know you were instrumental as being the prime sponsor and the mover of Jah'niqua's law, and I know you're going to elaborate a little bit about that, which assures accountability for those whose actions leave children without parents. We had legislation focusing on Gun Violence Week, you know, making sure that the issue of gun violence remains a prominent theme in a mindset, and not just a prominent theme, but focusing on developing meaningful solutions. And we're hopeful that the Gun Violence Week legislation will escalate, you know, the concept, the issue of gun violence, and lead to solutions-oriented dialogue that will lead to serious problem solving. We dealt with the issues of social work reform, actually developing and modernizing the social work code. Social workers do, like I said, a whole lot of the heavy lifting in our community. Psychosocial issues, they provide all of the support for many vulnerable people in this community. So modernizing the code was something that was very important. Also, we recognize our own, everybody knows Mr. James Sasso for his distinguished service in the funeral industry. I have a cushion bracelet on my hand. We were able to, no, it's a real deal. So we were able to honor and commend Mrs. Sonia Howe. I think that was an initiative that you brought forward to Senator Gittins. And this is an iconic bracelet. Anywhere you go in this whole world, you are recognized by this. It's a conversation starter, and you associate the U.S. Virgin Islands with this bracelet. So, you know, it's a reminder that we do serious, hard-hitting laws, but we also honor and recognize and commend those people among us who have given their all, you know, demonstrated excellence as Virgin Islanders, and it's critical that we recognize and honor them. So I never apologize for that, you know, because it's something, yes, if we don't do it, I don't think anybody else will. Yes, yes. Civilized society honor and support their own. Of course, we also considered some major overrides. I know that is what the majority of the viewers were sort of listening focused as to how this was going to be handled. Colleagues, I was definitely proud of the manner in which this was handled. The legislature has a position. Our position, I believe, was well thought out. We didn't just randomly throw something together. We solicited the support of the people that we pay to advise us, our legal counsel, provided us with the support and the legal advice to ensure that the legislation that we put together could withstand the scrutiny of the legal community, if it had to go to that. So when the compensation bill was passed, Governor Bryan, and it's within his right to do so, vetoed it. The legislature joined forces, and every single person in his body, moved to support the veto of this, the override. Sorry, thanks, Mr. Secretary. The override of the governor's veto. It was the right thing to do. It was just the right thing to do. I would say 90%. I didn't do any formal polling, but I would say 90% of the people of the Virgin Islands were in support of us overriding this veto. That's not the only reason we did it. We did it because the authority and the power of the legislature was being usurped based on the Organic Act, based on the law, based on just the timing of it, based on the economic conditions that we're in this territory. It was the right and prudent thing to do, and we overrode it 15-0. I think today's, and I summarize the diversity of our hearing today, of our session today, really addressed issues spanning from economic development to public safety, education, funding, social services, underscores the effective governance. That effective governance requires us to address both immediate needs as well as the long-term vision for our territory. So, moving forward, I am proud to be a member of the institution. We move forward with a level of thoroughness, with dignity, a collaborative spirit that I think the members of our constituencies deserve. That is what they put us here to do. You can have different personalities in this institution. You can have different perspectives, and it's not an institution that requires us all to agree on everything. What makes the institution rich is that we have the ability to bring diverse perspectives and opinions and put it together to create a beautiful tapestry, and I think that's what we did today. It's like jazz. We created beautiful music today, and I'm proud of the effort that we demonstrated today, colleagues. So I think we should end my talking for now and pass the baton over to either of you gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I give you your accolades as well for leading the orchestra. I applaud you. I applaud the majority leader and our secretary for your leadership, for sure. Today's Senate session was a strong demonstration of our serious commitment to upholding transparency, accountability, and responsible governance overall. We tackled issues that matter deeply to our people in the areas of public safety, the economy, public health, fiscal responsibility, and ensuring that our government maintains the necessary checks and balances. I want to especially applaud the entire body for standing firmly together in overriding the executive raises. This decision reflects our dedication to fairness and prioritizing the broader public good over individual gain. You stated, and I'm glad your percentage went up a bit. You did say that at least 80% of the people who are against these executive raises. And today you went to 90%. I want to go up to about 98%. You know, on that, because I haven't run into anyone in the supermarkets, at the gas station, anywhere, even at church and whatnot, that didn't express their comments on this particular issue. Additionally, I want to thank my colleagues in the 36th Legislature who supported the motion to issue a subpoena for the governors, lieutenant governors, and any other affected personnel in the leadership position as a result of the Public Employees Compensation Commission. I did request this information, the NOPA that is, in a June 3rd hearing, which happened to be my birthday, and they didn't respond with the information that we asked. And I asked the information because we needed to get on record to know for sure whether or not this was in fact just a $42,000 increase or it was more. There was information that the salary of the governor was clearly over $200,000. And for me, with my background in law enforcement, before I make an accusation, I want to have those facts before me. So I made the request for it, and it wasn't received. So as a result, today the body voted on subpoenaing those documents, and hopefully they will be submitted to the body by the time that we ask for it. You know, we don't take this lightly. This is a step in the right direction. It represents our commitment to clarity, the due process, and simply ensuring that decisions impacting the public resources are made with full transparency. And again, as always, you know, we want to move forward with the people's trust in mind and with their best interest. And I encourage everyone viewing this recording to please remain engaged. Contact us as your elected representatives. As you see us in the community, continue to approach us with your concerns, etc. I don't mind. I always engage with the people in the community, whether you voted for me or not. I am your Democratic representative here in the 36th Legislature, and I thank you all for your continued support.
Well, I'll just open tonight, this evening, as we recap here this good evening, and I'd just like to say to the wonderful people of the Virgin Islands, you know, it's not just a win for the we as Democrats, or it's just not a win as far as the 36th Legislature. I think it's a win for the people of the Virgin Islands. Yeah. All in all, I think that we're in the right path, and you know, just reverting back to the past, I'll just say this: I think that the bodies before us, they were on the right path when they created the mechanism and put in place to create a compensation commission study. I don't think that we should be the ones doing our passing our own or setting our own salaries and so forth. But I think that was the right path. I just think we just had a difference in opinions and the implementation of this law moving forward. You know, I know the governor was set and ready to go to court, and I think I know we were ready to as well to take action whichever way necessary. We heard the cry of the people, and we also vetted it and looked at it, and you know, we made some decisions. Coming in this institution every day is not just about joy and everything. It's something we just have to stop, regroup, and make some tough, unpopular decisions. But the decisions is for the betterment of not just a particular section. It's for all of us in the territory. And today we came in, it was not just about overriding. We were able to streamline the process, the GERS disability annuity process. We expanded justice protection in the form of the Jah'niqua's law. We have individuals that, you know, are being denied jobs and being discriminated because of things on their record, because of criminal acts that they were done, cleared from. So, you know, we dealt with expungement. We had 4 for great resolutions, not to rehash that because you guys went through that. And then, we touched on different things. We looked at things in the community. Today we passed a bill nearly $300,000 to fix lighting in St. Thomas. Street lighting in St. Thomas. We passed legislation, $100,000 for Little League. These are things we do every day coming here. Not just people think we just go in there and we just party every day. This is about the work of the people and getting things done. And, again, while I would say it's a win for the Democrats, but we had the minority included too, it's a win for the people of the Virgin Islands. And we're going to continue coming in here every day, making the tough, unpopular decisions. But some of the decisions we made today, all of us agreed on? No. But you know what? For the majority, it's to benefit everybody here in this territory. And we're going to continue doing what we have to do for the people of the Virgin Islands.
Absolutely.
And I want to applaud your push as well for those initiatives with the street lighting initiative and even the one that affects the Little League across the territory.
That's right.
Thank you. You've been strong advocate on this, and you already know how to rally the troops, rally your colleagues, and you even extended that branch across the aisle. To the point where we received the support from the non-majority members. And again, Mr. President, I always have to tip my hat to you for your leadership and being able to corral all of us together. I know it is a hard task with 15 people at times could be going in 15 different directions, but for some reason you just have that tenacity and that functionality to really keep us together as a group, and not to leave out the majority leader too, who is also well knowledgeable of the institution and the finances as well. And though he would not have been here with us, that of the finance chair, I also want to even say kudos to him as well, and running the finance committee thus far. We have been having a great number of senators sitting, and we know that the committees are made up with at least 7 members. But I must say that since the budget season started, we've been seeing upwards of 10 senators, 11 and 12, sometimes up to 14. At these meetings as we look over the executive branch or the government's budget.
And the one thing before we close, gentlemen, I'd like to say is that I heard the plea out there from the governor and by the power of the executive branch about working in collaboration. And as we caucus and we meet, we know that it's not just the legislature alone that we have to rely on them as well too, and we have to work collaboratively. We have some challenges in front of us. We have GERS just announced about the 3% increase. We have your health insurance talking about an increase as well. So all of this we taken into consideration, and yes, the work have begun because we have caucus and we have said, it even come to the point where we're talking about subcommittees and things moving forward to make real change in the territory. So it's that is on the table, and we know that it's not all about us, and we have to work with the executive branch. Sometimes we may have to include the judicial branch. That's why we always consider 3 co-equal branch of government, so we could get things moving in a path forward that it's for the betterment of the people and to make life easier for the people of the Virgin Islands.
I mean, you made a good point. I think that it's important to understand the role of each branch of government. And there is always, often, some level of conflict that is just inherent in our distinct duties and responsibility. We have oversight over the executive branch, right? So there is inherent some level of conflict. That is where the whole issue of checks and balances come in. And it makes us, in theory, that structure was designed to create a better product, to create a better community. So we're not hesitant about pushing back a little bit, about being a little demanding, when we ask cabinet members to come before us, specific questions, we ask the question why. We try to find out how the money was spent because we're talking about public funds. So our responsibility is to ensure that there is some level of prudence when it comes to the spending of public funds. So there is going to be a level of conflict, but you made a good point, Mr. Secretary. We always have a way of coming together collectively.
Yes.
We're on the same page. We talk about health insurance and the realities of health insurance going up, the pressures of the cost of living pressures that are impacting us as a community, the price of food, the price of gasoline. Those are real bread and butter things that the people who elected us are expecting that we will find ways to address and to resolve. We are going to come together with the administration, but we're also going to come together as a group to identify, to research, to find ways to make life in this territory better.
And the three of us had know as best to this table that, even during our campaigning time, people often ask the question, why should I return home? And every day we come to work, we try to make life better, not just for those who want to return home, but for the people who exist in here. And that's why we thought to see fit within our powers to say, well, we're going to raise the minimum wage of government employees from $27,000 to $35,000. That wasn't just an easy something to say, because we have to follow through on that promise. Sure. And we are vigorously working to make that a reality and looking at things in the private sector. We are in here every day trying to find out how we could let the world know we're open for business, for new revenue generating avenues to come in here. That's why we attend things like Sea Trade, not just for a trip, but we come back and we try to implement things. We working collaboratively with the executive branch and the private sector. So, I am happy, I'm comfortable where I'm at, and I think that I know for a fact that I'm working for the people of the Virgin Islands, and so are my colleagues.
And just as a little civic reminder, something that the Senate President just spoke to about the legislature's oversight responsibility. I oftentimes like to remind people or let people know that we are three co-equal branches of government.
Yes.
The first branch of government being the legislative branch, which is responsible for making laws. The second branch of government is the executive branch, who is responsible for executing the laws. And then you have the third branch of government, which is the judicial branch, who is responsible for interpreting the laws. So if there is a dispute between the first and second branch of government, that's where you go, over to the third branch. But while we have that oversight responsibility, we are not the ultimate bosses of anyone in the executive branch or even in the judicial branch. And it is important to let people know that when you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 marbles and you have them laid out on the table, something got to come first.
Yeah.
In this case, it just so happened that the legislative branch is the first branch of government, but that doesn't make us the boss or superior to any of the other branches of government. So I just wanted to make that point clear, that we are three co-equal branches of government.
And and before we depart tonight, I'll be remiss if I don't say to the people of the Virgin Islands, this is St. John time to celebrate. Let's be safe, let's be responsible, let's be our brothers and sisters keepers. Let's look out for one another. Don't drink and drive. I want to drink responsibly, but some people interpret that differently. And then the judicial branch have to get involved. So just be careful, be mindful, and be safe. Happy Carnival, happy celebration. This is your secretary from the 36th Legislature, Senator Avery Lewis.
Right, I absolutely want to thank you, colleagues, for your support throughout, the course of the 36th Legislature. We haven't been at it for a long time. We haven't quite hit our 6-month threshold fully as yet. But I think what is important and what the people of the territory want to know is that in spite of different perspectives, different personalities. Everybody has a different approach to things. This body, the leadership team of the Virgin Islands Legislature, as well as the collective 15 individuals in the 35th Legislature, we work together with one thing in mind, one objective: improving the quality of life for the people of the Virgin Islands. Our agendas, our committee meetings, our sessions consistently reflect that. That is the reason we are here. That is the sole primary reason we are here in these positions. So I ask you to take a look on our website, look at the 100-day report. You know, a lot of effort went into developing the 100-day report. You gain some insight as to the perspectives of the people that you elected to serve, some of the things they have in a hopper, some of the accomplishments they have made. It is there, and it is a high quality document that is available. I urge you to take a look at it. We're going to have some really interesting and unique activities planned for you. One thing that we are planning, putting the finishing touches on, is a very first dinner with a legislature. You know, they have a dinner with the doctors. We're going to have some activities like that in each district, so that you will have the opportunity to have informal, meaningful dialogue, direct, upfront, and personal with the people that you've elected to represent your interests in the 36th Legislature. We're going to be doing that. Our aim, our goal is to let you in on the inner workings of this body, to hear from you, to understand your priorities as we move forward. This is an exercise that we're going to do every time we have a session. We plan to have a debriefing just to share with you where we're coming from, our thoughts, our rationale for the decisions and the positions that we've taken. So I personally want to thank you very much. Like the Secretary just mentioned, Senator Lewis, I'm going to see you on St. John. I know I'm going to be there tomorrow at the food fair, for sure, opening the food fair. And I'm looking for some conch and butter sauce. That's my priority tomorrow. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, God bless the
And
Virgin Islands.
if I may, Mr. President, on behalf of all of us, I'd be remiss too if I didn't just say a heartfelt congratulations and thank you for the services of Mr. Errol Rogers, who's retiring from
Absolutely.
the institution.
Yes,
He retired
Big loss.
today.
Big loss for us.
And we have Mr. Eustace Brown coming up.
That's true.
From the Island District of St. Croix. So
In August.
we have two big fellows
Big shoes to
departing,
fill. Big shoes to
from
fill.
us, and we just want to say a heartfelt thank you to you both. That's Mr. Errol Rogers in the St. Thomas, St. John District, and Mr. Eustace Brown from the St. Croix District. Thank you all so much for all that you did and continue to do, because I know that though you be retired, you're going to be assisting us anyway.
Oh, yes.
So again, thank you all and best wishes on your future endeavors.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. VP.
Thank
Well
you.
said.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, everybody.